What's good, y'all? My name's Open Book. This is my partner.
Hey guys, this is Harith, and welcome back to TruSpace.
Yup, and it is Aquarius season, y'all. So we're going through our arc of higher knowledge. We're going through the arc of the fixation of higher knowledge and where we start to dissociate from our past egos and start to see our more transpersonal and interconnected type of identity when we are now incorporating our identity with all people, with humanity and our associations, and we're trying to balance this axis within this season now. So, how do you think we're about to be hit in this Aquarius season, Harith? Noting that we kicked it off with Pluto 0 degrees Aquarius. So, Sun conjunction with Pluto to kick off Aquarius season. How do you think this is going to play out?
So, since we previously were experiencing Capricorn season, where we're focusing on like initiating and give birth to some form of the infrastructure, Aquarius season right now we're gonna be more like fixated and stubborn on ideas, ways of communicating, on ways of how to be unique and original to rebel against what's old and outdated. It's almost like right now we're setting up the marketing team or the network for the infrastructure that we have set up in Capricorn season. And considering the sun right now is in going to Aquarius, this is our creativity, this is our self-expression, this is our persona, where it's gonna be more focused on associating with people who are just like us, people who want to do unique, original thing and rebel against what's old and outdated essentially here. And Pluto, before we went to Aquarius, Pluto conjuncted the sun, and that gives like almost like like a transformative epiphany as we went to it essentially here, where there's a lot of energy focus. Like it's almost like there God is forcing you to pay attention to this Aquarius energy and what's gonna happen as Pluto enter Aquarius by giving you that sun conjuncting Pluto, almost like as a heads up. You feel that intensity. So as you go towards Aquarius season, it's not as that intense if you get what I mean.
100, like so much truth, so much gems in that for sure. Look at what we were just talking about, how I was going in on the Jews, and I was getting a little, impersonal, starting to detach, and start talking about, yeah, getting serious, that Pluto energy started coming through. But look at what we were talking about, humanitarianism, humanitarian issues. But look how extreme it got. Look how intense my mind got to once I was fixating. But then, eventually, as I started thinking about it, and I started expanding based off of my associations, based off of the identities that I could identify with. I started identifying with all parties, and then it started to die down. The intensity, the bluntness started to die down. But look at the potential that had happened, and how intense it can get within that humanitarian thing, where we're going to be asking those tough questions, and it's not an easy thing to deal with what's going on right now, like, especially not even just Palestine and Israel, where you can make arguments for both sides, but it's raising humanitarian questions in general of how we're supposed to deal with these things. There's an impasse where both sides are wrong and both sides won't stop. It forces you to question humanitarianism on a large spectrum, and then not to mention all the wars going on. Like, oh, this shit's popping off with fucking Pluto, this Pluto Sun conjunction, and
Mhm.
then look at the issues that's gonna happen. Look at what's gonna happen Aquarius season. Niggas is gonna click up. So there's individual conflicts going on, building up. Palestine, Israel, now Yemen in the fold. Now Iran is in the fold. Now isn't the other niggas gonna start? Oh, this is Aquarius. No niggas pulling up. Before
Mhm.
it was Leo season, opposition, mano on mano, my identity versus your identity. I'm not gonna call my mans right now. I'm gonna beat your ass right now. Aquarius season is like, no, 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 let me call my mans, and it's a brawl, and now it's a brawl. All your mans from this hood is fighting all the mans from that hood, and it's a brawl. So it's a conflict on larger levels. And look at how Pluto kicked it off to make it as intense as possible, to make us, and then you have to leave certain ideas behind. You have to really
Mm,
leave certain ideas behind. Like a lot of the arguments that I was looking at, like even bringing up with you, like just now, like you could talk about, oh, the Jews have no claim to Palestine because of they illegally settled well, they here now and they got guns. What you gonna do about it? You know what I mean? So it's like
mm, mm,
there's
mm,
certain things that you have to let go. Like, yeah, they did do those atrocities, but how are we going to move if you hold on to that? We really can't move forward
mm,
with it, because you're always going to hate the Jews, or you're always going to hate the Palestinians, or you're always, if you don't let that stuff go. So it's forcing us. We
mm.
have to let go of certain things.
And this is what makes like an Aquarius a unique air sign, because as an air sign, you think
Mhm.
about like thinking, communicating, analyzing. But with Aquarius, it's more in like in a fixed frame, a fixed like stubborn frame, where an Aquarius won't budget like in his way of thinking or like on his train of thoughts
Never.
unless they could be proven wrong. Essentially, here they're hardcore mental thinkers. The only way to convince him to do something is by pure logic. You go any way other than that, it's not gonna work with an Aquarius. But using emotion and things like that.
And pure logic within their field, within their realm of reality.
No, that's how.
Pure logic in something they don't know. They
Yeah, yeah.
still it won't matter. It won't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah, no, no, 100% agree with you. This is where that's the dangerous part of Aquarius, where they become like stubborn thinking to the point it becomes negative. They think what I'm rebelling for, it's for the benefit for everybody. But at the end, they don't end up helping humanity. They just look rebellious, and they end up just causing more trouble than they necessarily unnecessary need. It's just the same thing. Humanity benefit from this. The same thing that they destroy humanity with.
100%. Look at religions. Look at what had happened. We associate with each other based off of humanitarian ideas, higher ideals, and shared bodies of knowledge. And then we abandon our individualities and don the individuality of the group. I'm Christian, I'm Muslim, I'm Hindu, I'm Jewish, I'm whatever type of association. But look at where the pitfalls can go, because we're talking about Christians are going to talk about creating one world peace under the doctrine of Jesus, peace across earth for Christians. But what about the Muslims? What about the Hindus? What about the people that don't accept Jesus Christ and that will never accept Jesus Christ? It's not like that's wrong. It's not like you guys are wrong. Maybe you're right. When we die, we'll find out. You know what I mean? Maybe you're right. But that
Mm,
you preaching holism can't work because you're excluding everybody else. So,
mm,
so, so, so you see what I mean in terms of this Aquarian energy, where look at the positives. You can't deny the positivities of Christianity. Christianity is the godfather of science, because it took an institution, a body of people, to fund certain projects, to come to conclusions on determine what's going to be important to build in terms of infrastructure, what information's important to pursue and stuff like that. So there's benefits, and then you can identify with the community. Look at the humanitarian things. Christians go and do missionary work all across the world, and stuff like that. So there's benefits to it. But when you're talking about a holistic mentality, there's holes in it because of that. Like, look at, remember, we're in the age of Aquarius, and aren't we
mm,
seeing transgenders? Aren't we seeing eccentric types of relationships and personality, where people are gender fluid and all of these different things? And all fine and dandy. We're experiencing the full spectrum of human experience. Like, all of this shit is real. Like, all of those feelings are real that these people are experiencing, however
mm,
it may come out and manifest. But look at how they're talking about all inclusiveness. We won't exclude anybody except people that don't believe. So it's not all inclusive.
mm, mm,
Uh,
mm,
uh, you can't be doing. But if you hate a Trump supporter, someone who's supporting Trump, you're not inclusive of everybody. You're not judgment free. You're judging that nigga because he's wearing a hat. All this nigga did was wear a hat. He could be a young, respectable young man who who respectfully disagrees with you on other things, but he's gonna open the door for you. He's gonna, maybe he's gay and you'll suck your penis too. Shit, like you don't know. But nah, because of the hat, you're gonna prejudge, and you're a grown consensual adult and you have your own valid experiences, so you can react however the fuck you want to react. But then there's going to be the discrepancy if your message is all inclusiveness, because there's that discrepancy there. So I feel like that's what Pluto's really exposing too, for us within this cross and Pluto. Is like, yo, you can't teeter totter. It's
Mm-hmm.
either you with these, it's either you it or you not. And
Mm-hmm.
if you say you're all inclusive, I'm gonna force you into situations until you admit that you don't, or you finally turn into it. So look, these transgender or different religions, they're always going to be battling, um on the axis where life and God is going to keep on pushing them in situations where they're forced to accept outsiders because they keep on claiming that they're all inclusive. They keep on claiming that they're the all, that they're unity, but won't acknowledge what that really means on a larger scale.
It's like they utilize the Aquarius energy, but they put limitation on it. They utilize for their own group, but when it comes to other groups, but I feel like that's the same thing that eventually leads to like a whole group unity when multiple groups interact with each other, which leads to debate, discussion. Eventually, that gives birth to better groups, more holistic groups, and things along this line. This is why I feel like it's so important when it comes to like Aquarius energy association itself, information exchange, and things like that. That's what leads to like the whole like why Aquarius associate with the future, technology, futuristic things.
100%. I completely agree with what Harith just said in terms of, you know that's why we need to stop trying to be what we aren't. We have to acknowledge these things. It's not wrong that, say, Christians want to believe that they want to believe and they want to stay away from certain energies. We need to stop demonizing it, but then we need to stop claiming that we are achieving unity, that we are trying to do those things, those holistic perspective, that I have the truest holistic perspective. The truest holistic perspective is no perspective at all.
Mhm.
That is the truest holistic perspective. But we came down here to separate. There is a realm of reality where we are all united and we can't run away from that. So we don't have to try and fake unity down here. I think
Mhm.
that's where we get lost. So just like what Harith is saying, there's power. I look at Aquarius. Leo is the sun. It's an individual star. Aquarius is a constellation, but a series of constellation, now that's a galaxy. If you get what I mean, when Harith is
Mhm.
talking about
Mhm.
bunch
Mhm.
of association, bunch of groups, that's how you create a galaxy. That's how you create a universe.
It's almost like Congress. They're not gonna sit one day and they all gonna be peaceful. Everything be going smooth. It's gonna be always people debating, people arguing, people gonna be throwing, making fun of each other. It's always gonna be like that. But that's the whole point. It's almost like being forever in the state of like rebellion till we find what makes sense. But we will never find what makes sense because we live life, and life is not static, it's forever going. So does such a concept exist, or is it the whole point, or is the whole point to go through it?
100%. Um, I think it is inevitable for us to go through it for sure, but we have, as humans, have always been going through it, and all of that information is held within us genetically. Like, you have the memory of your as distant ancestor as you can go back, going through the that struggle. So I think we have enough information to find an equilibrium, but then, just like how the sun always goes around, you're right, these are things that we always come back to, that we and you're right. Rebellion may be a necessary phase in terms of ego construction, where you need to go through that, and that's why it opposes Leo.
Mm,
Where for you to really know who you
mm,
are, you have to kind of abandon that or become what other people. Join that transpersonalism is going to really question or put into question who you thought you were as an individual. So unless you put it up into that test, you're not gonna So you have to do those tests. So in a way, rebellion is needed. It is cyclical like that, for sure. But yeah, that's Aquarius season, y'all, where we have to start focusing on where we are directing this energy towards, and stop being prejudiced to the other side, and just start being transparent with the ideas that we have. It's okay that you don't get along with certain people. It
Mhm,
doesn't have to be everybody.
mhm. It doesn't
It's
have to be
okay.
negative. Yeah, it's normal.
Exactly. That's the positive side of the disconnect, the disassociative ness of um Aquarius, where um it's not all on you. It's not this personal thing, especially when we're talking about these larger concepts of life and how we identify ourselves within the large grand scale of things. We just need to start to find the places that resonate best with us, our group, that we can contribute the best in. When you join, you can help create a beautiful constellation, and then it helps connect you with you're making connections with the people, with the right connections, if you get what I mean, in terms of um like the body. Like, you're going to want certain body parts to be connected to other certain body parts, because they're going to work better with each other, if you get what I mean. So it's valuable to have those
Mhm,
connections, but you
mhm,
are not transpersonal. Don't forget that there's an axis, is what I'm saying. That there's
mhm,
that Leo aspect and that
mhm.
Aquarius aspect.
Mm-mm. And I feel like Aquarius, when it comes to like associating people, putting people together, they almost work like almost like a energy circuit. They know how to make the group or like the association the most efficient way possible and remove what kind of disconnect things. It's almost like an electrical
Yeah.
circuit.
100%. 100%. Where a lot of connections can be made. So this is what we need to starting to utilize right now. Look at how and then shit's already lines up in our lives anyways. Look at what I was just showing you here, with how I was showing you the website, and I'm telling you about the systems that I'm trying to build within the website, the bone structure,
Mm,
Capricorn. But
exactly.
then putting it online, and now trying to get the connections, and getting people to come and communicating with that would be what Aquarius season was for. And see how those things just naturally line up. It plays out for everybody like that too, where
Mm,
now it's the time where we can really start to associate with like-minded people, where we can start to identify with higher concepts, to really even test ourselves as an individual. Maybe this Aquarius season you don't necessarily find the big group, the association that you can identify yourself with, but you may come out with more clarity on how you associate with people, and more clarity on your own individual ego, and the
mm.
things that maybe you need to let go of, or ways you can better express
نعم.
yourself, or that you're
التحت.
lacking in personal
اتغسلت
expression.
هاي. Yeah.
But yeah, that's what we need to be focusing on this Aquarius season. Where we can really be honest with too, like, man, like, honesty is really the best policy. And when Aquarius starts drifting away from that, now they're starting to use, this is where the evil starts coming from. And this is why you love it when Aquarius is honest with you, and they're blunt, and you love them for that eccentricness. You love them because they're weird. You love them because they're different, because you feel the honesty, you feel the transparency. You love them that they're a know-it-all and that they claim it all, because that's how they genuinely feel. And you can, and this is fixed signs across the board, I feel. You can really kind of depend on them to be consistent like that, or to express themselves within that way, or not you could depend on them to not express themselves if they're a Scorpio or like a Taurus or something like that. That would be consistent too,
Mhm,
but
mhm, mhm,
that's who
mhm.
they are.
Mhm, 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 mhm.
Yeah, so we need to be connecting with others, and then just even with our own mind, within our own, we need to start be connecting our own ideas to larger world concepts. Start holding your ideas up to the world to see how they stand up, and
Mm-hmm.
and how they weigh out, and see if you can find your way within this world. A lot of us within the spiritual community try and separate ourselves. We get into this Aquarius energy, you get all this information, you get all these downloads, and you start to disassociate. But
Mm-hmm.
remember, it's not just Uranus that's here. Saturn, it's the masculine side of Saturn. It's the masculine side too. So there's
Mm-hmm.
a lot of action, stable action that is missing from this Aquarius energy. Where if we were to have that, like there was say accountability online somehow, everything would be fixed, and that would solve everything. Literally, there would be no problems. Just
Mm-hmm.
pure accountability. But look at the masculine side of Saturn kind of coming up, and how that would clean. So within these situations, remember there has to be purpose on how why you're associating with people, for to build a stable structure, not associating just for the sake of associating because of higher ideals, because those may not necessarily be as realistic. You would need that realism.
100%. And definitely this Aquarius season, pay attention to like all the technology. How can you incorporate Chat GPT, AI? Because all this like stuff will enhance whatever you're doing, whatever you were doing while the sun was in Capricorn, giving you more like electronic ability, Aquarian like type of ideas and energy basically. So using the world like for your own benefit as opposed to opposing what's coming out, which doesn't even make any sense. Why would you say no to all this new stuff coming out? Makes zero sense.
100%, especially with just like what Harry was saying, you could get stuck in that rebellious energy, but to bring what into replace it? That's where a lot of people come into the discrepancy, where understand the energy that is playing on behind the scenes, the energy that is embodied within say these new technologies and stuff like that. Then maybe because look at, say they develop medical devices that allow us to really start to see disease, but what if you developed your psychic abilities to be able to perceive, or your own internal ability to even notice what's going on in your own body,
Mm-hmm.
and come up with just as sophisticated of a system to identify, say, disease or differences or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
as these people there. But you would get stuck in fighting their idea and not being the one pushing the alternative. That's the side that you want to be on, pushing the alternative, not the rebel, the person trying to hold on to the old structures. 100%. Then we can quickly go through the houses
Yeah.
if you're down. If you have Aquarius moving through your first house, this is increased networking within your personal interest. So maybe you'll find new friends or new connections based off of um, personal interest and stuff like that. But it's definitely a challenge to your identity, where your identity is going to become more transpersonal, more associated with other people in groups, and it's going to challenge who you think that you are.
100%. You'll probably learn how to associate and network. Probably like maybe like you had like early childhood problem, so now you know how to work it better with other people, so your persona does not get in the way.
100%. Yeah, how to get your personality to fit better within the overall, and it's going to be challenged. So yeah, that's if you have it in the first house. If you have Aquarius within your second house, then this would be more so associating based off of resources, based off of the things that you have, or the skills that you have built. What's the value that you can bring to the table, holding that up to see what type of connections it can provide you, um,
Mm-hmm.
is what's going to be challenged.
And you're probably gonna learn how to use your resources, your money from like, you'll be able like, to maneuver it from much more like a higher point of view because you have more ideas. You're not stuck in like that Taurus mentality where maybe you're going old school, regular ways. You're adding maybe new stuff to whatever you're doing with your resources.
100%. And there could be that challenge where you're looking ahead, but maybe your resources don't really necessarily match. But that future sight is that challenge to tell you what resources that you will need to build. So it may feel hard to deal with because you're kind of ahead of yourself, but just know that that type of ability is actually a blessing because it's letting you know what resources that you are missing. And now all you need to do is acquire those resources. So yeah, if you have Aquarius in your third house, then yeah, what do you think Aquarius in the third house would be like?
You're gonna be associating or disassociating from people within your immediate environment, whether it's your siblings, your co-workers, if people they match your way of thinking, you're gonna associate with them. But if they bother you and they're gonna organize with the whole third house Gemini energy, you're gonna disassociate away from them.
There might be some debate energy that goes on there where you guys may butt heads or clash based off of ideas, but understand utilize this clash based of ideas for you to acquire more knowledge. It's okay for people to disagree. It's okay for people to be uninformed. um but it's all in the essence of sharing information and acquiring information. So try and have that perspective when these debates come on, so you can actually leave them more knowledgeable, and not be as adverse or against what's going on in your immediate surroundings, feeling like you have to leave. But yeah, what about Aquarius in the fourth house?
You're gonna be either associating or disassociating from family, home, domestic issue, private things. You're either gonna uh figure out new ways to associate and like probably give your family a better structure. Comes to like communicating, like analyze and not get lost as in as much as emotion. Or you're probably gonna disassociate and leave your family, which is gonna be like the negative side of Aquarius. Aquarius in the fourth house.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You maybe be careful because all of us, on these journeys can understand, that our parents or our home environment may not necessarily understand these higher ideals that we are, or this higher knowledge that we are starting to dive into and starting to understand. So don't let that distance you from your home too much. Just like what Harith is saying, because there's lessons within that. Maybe you're the one that was supposed to come and teach the old generation with these newer ideals, and then even the experiences that you go through at home is building your foundational understanding of how you are going to associate with people on a broader scale. So your relationship dynamics at home is teaching you, showing you right now, illuminating how you can associate with other people on a larger scale, whether it's positive at home or negative at home. That's where the lessons are going to be. So don't disassociate from it and run away from the information, because that
Mm-hmm.
information is the lesson that's there. What about Aquarius in the fifth house?
You'll be either associating or disassociating based on your creativity, your self-expression, and like your persona. So, like, of course, in the fifth house, you could be networking with people based on whatever talent you have, whatever you've been like rapping or singing about, or based on you might even network with people who may not agree with like your creativity, your self-expression, and things like that. But that's giving you a lot of information on how to do it better and network it better, since those energies naturally like oppose each other. So gotta be
Mm-hmm.
careful here, because like you could take yourself to the next level if you find the right person to associate with and show them your talent.
100%. That's advice I give to Libra and Leos all the time. Where sometimes, because a Leo needs the stage and a Libra needs like a partner to bounce off of a lot of the time, and then they'll demonize it. Oh, I'm so codependent. Or it's not necessarily always bad if you understand that that's how you work best or what tricks your mind the most. Just get into a healthy relationship or get onto a cleaner stage, a better stage. And then just having those aspects is going, and you understand that you bounce off of them better. So same thing with your associations, maybe with, of course, in the fifth house, you're more creative when you're associated with higher ideals or when there's other people that's involved. But if that's how you work, just make sure you're associated with highly creative people or people that are going to cater to or foster that creativity, and then it won't be as bad. But if everybody you're associating with is not providing that, then you're going to run dry of creativity. So make sure that that network that you have is fostering that creativity, and then you won't run dry.
Mm-hmm.
What about The sun in Aquarius in the sixth house.
So associating or disassociating based on your routines, your patterns, and your health. So here you could probably incorporate and network with people who could improve your routine and patterns, your health or your fitness, or the other way around where they don't match your daily routines and things like that. So you might disassociate away from them, but there's still something for them to learn because a lot of time with Virgo energy sixth house, you may not see the bigger picture like Aquarius essentially, and realize how this person could have put you in a better position, but you prefer the comfort of your small routine and pattern, which it is necessary, but this is why you gotta utilize the energy of Aquarius to make it more like add more energy to it, like.
Hmm. This is why when you're aware, you can kind of embrace frustration and challenge with a little bit more understanding, because you know the gains that are going to come from those types of things in terms of a higher level of understanding and more information that you can incorporate within your daily routine. Instead of trying to disassociate from cooperating, or your daily routines, like what Harriet was saying. You can really start to level up the knowledge and start to understand, say, okay, my associations, okay, this person's preventing me from doing this, that, and the third, or having this worked out. But now I understand, if I do it at this time, or if I work around at this time, or if I utilize this information, I can get around that obstacle now. If you get what I mean. So
Mm-hmm.
then you can go and thank those associations for showing you how to work more efficiently, showing you how to process information and incorporate it into a routine more efficiently. But sometimes that needs to go through struggle.
Like Aquarius and Virgo, Aquarius and Virgo. That's almost like the manager who like the manager who manager other managers. If you get what I mean, like you,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a flung time position.
Well, 100%, 100%. It's like the accountant for all of these different agencies or whatever. Yeah, yeah, I feel you. What about the sun in Aquarius in the seventh house?
So you're gonna be associating or disassociating with people in your relationship, people who you're partnered with, and things along this line. So if these people are not bringing you that sense of harmony, you probably gonna if they bring you a sense of harmony and connection, you probably continue to network with them. But if they don't bring that, you will probably disassociate with them.
Mm-hmm. 100%. And then also be aware that a lot of the things or associations that you may be identifying with may be your shadow, when we're talking about with the seventh house, where a lot of the partnerships that we get into are reflections of our own selves that we project onto others, that we don't, that it's like forced to act out within them. So with it being Aquarius, that shadow that could be, maybe we're acting like people are discontent with us, or that people are very clicky or whatever, and that you're not unable to get those genuine relationships. But that could be something that we're projecting onto others, that we're just hiding, our own selves, or we're being distant, or we're the ones being rebellious, but then we're putting that on our partners or the people we're trying to have relations with. So watch out for that projection with the seventh house.
Mm-hmm.
What about the sun in Aquarius in the eighth house?
You're gonna go through a transformation with the people who you're associated with. So if you associate a network and get the proper ideas, you're gonna go through like a good transformation. But if you don't, you might go through a destructive transformation, because Aquarius squares Scorpio. That's almost like the energy of you associate with a person, but you didn't know that they're gonna betray you, and they're probably gonna lead to a lot of maybe trauma when it comes to like associating or networking with people again. It's almost like
Yeah, 100%.
Aquarius in the eighth house. That's almost like I have a deep hatred to this one group type of energy, yo.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, because that's how vulnerability kind of goes, where you can distance yourself from, say, certain things once you have certain vulnerabilities, or say certain trauma based on certain things, or that trauma can really help you associate with other people. Look at how deep people can connect based off of similar addictions, similar life circumstances. Just someone going through something, the same thing that you went through, you can really connect with them in a way that is separate from your own individuality. It helps you transcend your individuality and realize that you're bigger than just a little bubble, because this person experienced it too, so you must be part of something greater.
And Aquarius and eighth house will build like a federation for crackheads type of shit.
Oh yeah, 100%. A federation for traumatized kids. You know, a federation for crackheads. A federation for we can associate based off of these traumas.
Hmm.
You know, what about Aquarius in the ninth house? The Sun in Aquarius ninth house.
You're gonna be associating or disassociating with people based on their belief system and their meaning and reasoning. So if you believe they have the same spirituality, meaning and reasoning, religion like you're gonna be associating in a network with them. But if they don't, you're gonna disassociate.
Yeah, 100%. It really has these. There may be a lot of maybe traveling that may go down in terms of
Yeah.
mentally or physical traveling that could go down that is going to broaden your perspective of an individual how you network with people but morality in general and when purpose in your life. So really look at your associations and the things that is taking you away from individuality to be your philosopher, to be your teacher, to be within this transit, because it's trying to teach you higher ideals, higher moral lessons. So whatever rebellion that may be going on, all of that Aquarian energy, whatever associations you're interacting with, really look for the moral lining or how things line up with your morals for it to be your philosophical teacher.
Like if religion had a natal chart, this would be like in it.
100%. 100%. 100%. So what about the Sun in Aquarius in the 10th house?
So you're gonna be associating or disassociating with people based on like whatever business status they have here. So if they have like if they work on the same status business like you know associate with them, try to build it up further. But if they don't, you may see how that would lower your own status, your own potential of your own business.
100%. Like, say certain people may be disassociating, say you're talking about you stand with Israel or you stand with Palestine in your fucking coffee shop. Now you're blocking off profit from a whole thing of people because of who you associate with. But which is not necessarily bad if that's how how you want to present yourself, but to understand that things can be done on you guys can have different be part of different groups, have different ideas, but still operate within a business structure and framework. This is the associating part where you understand that maybe you are a creative, so you don't change and you associate with creatives within this one frame, but you understand that you can associate with these people, the business people, or the people that understand the marketing, or the people that understand different parts, so you guys can work together in an overall arcing system. So that's how you can work with you, and how you can look at yourself as your reputation as you associate with these higher ideals of how you can move within that business realm, and instead of trying to disassociate in terms of and ruin your business based off of how you're trying to associate, or ruin your reputation and the possibilities of what you can build and the stability that you have because you want to disassociate with certain ideas. Understand that every idea has its own has its place within a structure.
Mm-hmm.
What about Aquarius in the 11th house?
We're easily gonna do more of the same thing. That's it.
100% networking ODing. But you really watch out, because you may get into that humanitarian vibe where you really identify with a higher ideal, and it resonates with you because it's in your 11th house, so maybe it's a genuine cause that you're genuinely for. But don't lose yourself,
Yeah,
don't lose your own individuality within all of that. You can associate with something bigger, but
mm.
make sure you remain you.
Yeah, just don't like abstract everything and fight for a cause that doesn't even exist or even came to fruition,
Yeah, 100%. Remember, your mama's child, try and humble yourself a lot at the time, or even if it's an idea that is strong, still question it, always question it, or else you can go too far with it
Mm-hmm.
and there'll be no return.
Mm-hmm.
Always question it.
Make sure you stay grounded. That's it.
100%. 100%. What about Aquarius in the 12th house?
So here you're gonna be networking with people based on your dreams and your illusion and like spirituality. Here you can gather a lot of ideas about maybe on how to communicate, how to network, whatever your belief system is. Because when we speak about Pisces, we're speaking about things that don't make sense, things that don't exist, and things along this line. Or you might you experience where you disassociate with people based on their dreams and illusion. They don't match yours, but there might be a lot of benefit on understanding like how you guys dreams and illusions disconnect due to Aquarius. Maybe it's a miscommunication, and at the end it's all about communicating if you really think about it and how will you do it.
100%. Where there could be a lot of confusion, but I feel like adding Aquarius to Pisces and adding Pisces to Aquarius helps negate the problems that they get because Aquarius would get too linear where they'll go so far based off of one idea, create whole abstract systems and really go far. But Pisces is all encompassing too. So when you're going far with your ideas and mental, you feel going through the travels and different emotions and in different things that exist within Pisces. So it lets you know how fast you're going with your associations, if you get what I mean. So if you're having two bad associations and that Aquarius energy is imbalanced, it's going to be very overwhelming, within your life. Like you can't run away from it. And it's going to be way more obvious. So
Hmm.
there's that sensitivity to that's going to be going through where you're going to start to notice the changing belief systems that you can even have and how who you associate with affects you on a subconscious level. The
Hmm.
sun's going to come and try and illuminate that, but remember it's the 12th house, so it's not going to be the easiest to see. You
Hmm.
have to tap into a level of sensitivity and really pay attention to what's going on, and it's going to be abstract, it's not going to be linear. You may not necessarily be able to directly say, oh, because this nigga did this, it did this, but maybe the energy or the vibe that it created did lead to that. So you're gonna have to think a little bit more abstract like that for you to be able to peep game on what you're associating with may be causing the confusion.
100%. Just like Aquarius with Sagittarius, this is the same energy would create a religion too.
100%. 100%. But yeah, y'all, that's Aquarius through the houses. Stay safe this Aquarius season. Um
Hmm.
really really check the ideals that you're going under, really know what it is. If you're going to identify with something larger than yourself, really be informed and really make sure there's a spot for you in your own individuality and that you don't have to leave yourself behind in order to be a part of it, that you can be amongst the group.
And try to harness as much as information that you can. Like it's a great time to learn too.
That's the time it is right now where and you were gonna need it because our based off of how much we know and how much we're aware of is going to set the barrier for our belief systems. If you don't know that you can if you alkalize the body and take away the acidic environment, that cancer can't form and that a cancer will be healed within the body, then you wouldn't believe that cancer can be healed because you don't know about pH levels and what causes cancer and all of these things. So having that information is going to expand your belief system. But yeah, y'all, stay safe this Aquarius season.
Peace.